Welcome back, Saf and the Cityers. It is really good to be back. I know I've taken a leave of absence, but I'm back. I am going to explain what happened, but honestly, it's just good to be back. So basically, during the year, we're all going to have our ups and downs, and I've been having a bunch of those. And it was in my best interest to go to Hebron for like a week and a half and have some alone time. And I didn't really have full access to my phone. I just had time to process and be alone, and it was a very blessed opportunity that I was given. I really feel like it gave me a lot. Just the time to be alone without distractions and really process what was going on instead of running away from it and trying to get to the roots of the issues and coming up with solutions to, or approaches to try to fix them. I finally feel like I'm making some steps forward. And then this week I've been back already, and I'm just, getting back used to things, getting back into things, getting used to things again. And, just a process. So, but one thing, actually, I learned a lot of things I'm going to talk about today, but I'm going to start with one. I just need to talk about how important it is to be alone. Not alone in general, you don't want to be lonely, but just how important it is to be able to like be alone and be by yourself, because that's what we got at the end of the day. Like, yeah, you can distract yourself, and like I said, you can run away from your issues, but it doesn't get rid of them, it just pushes them off more. And until you're able to sit alone and be alone, you're not going to accomplish anything. So whatever it is, like, just go for a run, go for a walk, just take time. I like to sit by nature, by some water, a nice view. I actually have a nice view right now. And I just like to just think and just listen to some music and just be by myself. So I'll speak about some of the things I actually did in Hebron. I was in an Israeli yeshiva, and the guys there were amazing. If some of you guys are listening to this, the ones who understand it, I had the best time with you guys, and you guys gave me a lot. To those of you who don't understand it, spread the message. Hopefully, some of them listen to it. I did talk about Saf in the city there. So I would basically just take the time to myself. I would read a lot of books, do a lot of journaling, work out, just talk to guys, ask questions that I needed, dig deep, find the roots of my issues, and like I was at a wall for a while, and I feel like I'm starting to climb the wall, and it's a very high wall, but all we could do is make progress and just make progress and get better each day. And I said I worked out there, and I also mentioned a few seconds ago you should go for a run. I think that that's the most important thing in keeping yourself sane and normal. Of course, science talks about it. Everyone will tell you. I felt it. I'm sure a lot of you have felt it. How important exercise is. If you need to go for a run, south in the city where it's suitable for runs. Pause. We'll be right back with you. And you know what? If you did that, pick up your legs, go run, because you're not gonna move yourself. But if you're not doing that, find some time later and be a little physically active, because I know when I'm having a hard time or just not feeling so good, and even if I'm lazy, like I just know after a run or playing some basketball or working out, I'll just feel a lot better. So I think that's important. And it's important to ask yourself, what's holding me back? You really have to be honest with yourself. Is this something that's benefiting me? Is this in my best interest? Like we all have toxic things that we waste our time with or our thoughts with. And we can get really, really lost in it before we're able to get out of the hole. So it's important to self reflect and to ask yourself, is this benefiting me? All right, you really got to be honest with yourself, because that's the key. Another important thing that I've been realizing lately is that you got to reach out for help. Yes, it's good to be independent, learn how to deal with your issues. It's great. That's a very, very important skill, and you have to master that. But the best way to be is interdependent. For those of you who don't know what that means, interdependent means like you're gonna ask someone for help, but they're not like telling you what to do. You're not depending on them. You and them are able to together come up with the best solution. Like sometimes a teammate in sports could bring out the best in you. That if you're listening, always got those sports analogies. But find someone who you relate with or you feel like speaks your language, and be interdependent. And you do have to master independence before you could be interdependent. You have to know how to be alone and how to deal with your issues. But don't be afraid to reach out for help. Like, there are adults in your life or friends, or find someone that you trust and just talk to them, because being alone and getting overwhelmed could really bring you down. I think that's very, very important. It's very important to practice what you preach. I'm working on that. So I got to remind myself these all the time. Another thing that I picked up, a lot of mistakes that I make personally, and I feel like a lot of people make, is we expect our environments to change for us. And maybe we're wrong, maybe we're right. But realistically, that's just not going to happen. And as frustrating as it is, like, it's just not. So if we could change our perspective and change our expectations, we don't need to change our environments. Change the way that you look at it, change the way you approach it, change the way you react to it. And that helps build character. And you don't need to change your environment for that. And you'll have an easier time fitting in to certain situations. It's of course it's easier said than done. Like I've already found a bunch of times where I haven't been able to practice this, but at least reminding myself, like it puts you to the test and you see what you could do. And I really feel like it makes all the difference. And I'm a pretty goal oriented person, and a lot of people always have goals and want to do things. But I'm also lazy, and I don't like to go through the process. And I just want to get what I want. I just want to be jacked without going to the gym. I just want to, like be successful without having to work hard. And that's not going to happen. Like we have to work hard. We didn't come here to just lay low. Obviously there's time to chill. Like, I'm the biggest chiller out there. But, work hard and one day at a time. That's the key. Just make yourself better one day at a time because that's the only way it's going to work. That's the only way it's going to stick. Here's an analogy that I came up with this week. If you go up the elevator, you're skipping all the steps. The elevator's going to go back down. Yeah, you'll be at the top for a little bit and it's nice, but the elevator's going to go back down. But if you take the time and walk up the stairs, even if you're only halfway up the staircase, you turn around and you look and you're like, wow, I made it up all these stairs. And you know what it took to get to all the stairs. If you're at level three in something and you want to get to level five, like you just have to get to level four first. It's just how it is. And some levels are going to be easier and some are going to be harder. And some days maybe you'll go back a level, but that's okay. Another thing I learned that the struggle is part of the process. And that's okay. Some days are going to be good, some days are going to be bad, but we can't let that define us. We're bigger than that. All right, and I actually have a random story for you guys because never let them know your next move, just to maybe lighten the mood a little bit. So this happened around, wow, crazy, maybe already 2 months ago already. I was out to dinner, and I was going back on one of the light rails, and which is basically a train here, and someone came up to me, and they said, "Oh, is this the way to this and this stop?" And I said, "Yes." So we got on the train, door closes, and then I realized, wait, me and this guy are going opposite ways. So I go up to him, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I told you to go to the wrong direction. Get off at the next stop and go 2 stops in the other direction." I'm pretty sure he did that, but I'm not sure. I didn't see him again. And then before I know it, I was at the wrong stop and I realized I was going the wrong way. I realized I was at the stop where he was supposed to go to. And I'm like, oh no. Turns out I was on the wrong train and I went to where he was supposed to go and I sent him to where I was supposed to go. So hopefully that guy doesn't hate me. Somehow, if you are listening to this, which probably you're not, but I'm sorry, I did not mean to do that. I hope you got to where you needed to be. So yeah, that was just a pretty funny story. And joke of the day, trying to keep with the theme here. What kind of tea is really hard to swallow? Give you guys a few seconds to think. And the answer is reality. Yes, I know. Guys, reality is the only world we want to live in. It's fun to live in fantasy worlds, but I don't know. I'm just seeing more and more that my fantasy world plans are not going to work out. And you could dream but work hard for it. Like shoot for the moon. And if you miss and you land in the stars. But we got to live in reality. You know, that's just because that's where the world is. You don't want to miss out. And maybe this whole thing has been motivation, but what would Saf in the City be without a motivational quote? This one I actually came up with myself. Actually, I don't know if I did. I probably saw it a long time ago, but I've used it as my own quote. Can't is just can with a T. And I'm going to kind of wrap the perspective lesson into here. You see the word can't, you hear the word can't, I can't do this. This can't happen. And yeah, you can't change the reality of that. The word can't is going to be the word can't. But if you change the perspective of you and you think can't is just can with a T, you're going to be like, I can do anything. That T is not going to stop me. And that's important to remember, guys. Can't is just can with a T. Wow, so we're almost wrapping in the 10-minute mark. So I think I'm going to wrap it up. But it feels good to be back on Saf in the City. Guys, let's get big. Let's get this out here. And day by day, let's just get better. Peace out, guys. See you next time.